All right, we call this meeting to order at 10:30 a.m. on November 14th. I have the duly served signed warrant. Is there any dissent to dispensing with the reading of the warrant? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. It looks like we have quorum of 15 or more. We have our town clerk and myself, Keith Menard, your moderator. So we have everything we need for a valid town meeting. Our non-residents are seated over here. Is there any dissent to allowing them to speak today if they can assist the meeting in any way with information they might have to help us? Okay, seeing none, they will be allowed to speak. We have our finance committee. Where's our FinCom? Right over here. Thank you guys for your service. Thank you. I shouldn't say guys. Thank you all for your service. We still have one opening on FinCom. If anyone would like to apply, please come see me after the meeting, or you can send me an email. We will not be doing counters and checkers today because if we can't count that many between all of our fingers and toes, then we're in trouble. And over here we have our Board of Selectmen as well as our town administrators. So a little bit about how, can everyone hear me okay? All right, good. So a little bit about how town meeting is going to be run today. It will be a little bit different. All motions will come from the floor, and the way that will sound is I'll accept the motion to move Article 1 as printed in the warrant. It would be, someone would say so moved, and then after that there would be a second, hopefully, and at that point I will say, is there any dissent to passing the article unanimously? And if there's none, then we will pass it unanimously. If somebody wants to speak on the article or ask questions about the article, then you would dissent to passing it unanimously. Please remember that while what we're doing is serious, there's both long-term and short-term consequences for all of us. We're all neighbors. Please be respectful of one another and enjoy the process. It truly is a great one. And before we get going with the meeting, there is one announcement. The RPC is working with the towns of Douglas, Mendon, Uxbridge on a regional residential housing needs study. 3 towns do not have recent housing plans, therefore the study is intended to collect data and community input to understand existing conditions and trends and gain insights into housing concerns from a local perspective. The recommendation report will outline major findings and housing gaps that have been identified and provide a set of realistic housing strategies for each community to pursue. Please consider participating in the study. And if you go on the town's website, you will be able to find it, but it is https tinyurl.com Route 16 housing study. And if everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Flag. All right, I will now accept a motion to pass Article 1 as printed in the warrant. Is there a second? Okay, seeing none. Is there any dissent to passing Article 1 unanimously? There is. So, Article 1, if I could get a proponent speech from a member of the Board of Selectmen.
so usually have those printed out. No proponents speak.
Okay. Did you have a question, or you had a question? Okay, so go ahead and come speak into this mic right here, please.
Ellie Chesbro, 17 Church Street. I have a question about the Economic Development Coordinator wages. One, what is the purpose of this for $14,000? And two, how much has been spent on this sort of position in the past 15 or 20 years? And what have we gained from it?
So the purpose behind this is it's for a part-time position for someone to go out and seek and explore new opportunities for revenue for the town of Douglas. So this has not been a funded position before. The current person that I believe is looking at that position, we don't have anyone looking at it? Yeah, well, when we posted, it would basically be augmenting the Economic Development Commission, who has been extremely busy. I think that the current project that we voted on for our last town meeting was the correct result of having somebody dedicated to moving forward with those kind of projects, pursuing those kind of projects. But in the past, we haven't had anyone.
Got a follow-up?
I remember money being spent on, I don't know whether it was Central Mass Regional Planning or somebody like that, but we spent quite a bit of money over the years on economic development studies. And I think is Hal here? He could probably speak on it. He was a proponent of the whole thing before.
Was that a question or a statement?
I'm asking how much has been spent over the years and what have we gained from it?
Yes, Ellie, in the past, first of all, we received a grant from Mass Business Development. Can you hear me? Oh, Hal Davis, 80 Orange Street, Douglas. Initially we had an economic development person that was funded by the Commonwealth. Subsequently, we made an appropriation and hired the Worcester Business Development Corporation to help us with economic development. They identified a couple of locations and assisted us in making them marketable. Now today the situation we're facing, why we need this position, is where we have several marijuana facilities that we're working on that will generate significant revenue for the town, and we're also working on a 1 million square foot warehouse facility that is a very complicated process that requires bringing natural gas to the site and getting several property owners. But this would bring a significant amount of tax revenue, and this is close to fruition. Recently, we were the #1 position in the state for a large pharmaceutical manufacturing plant that would employ 500. We were the last one in Massachusetts, and the facility is going to another state, but we beat out 6 other communities in Massachusetts. There are prospects, and there's an overwhelming amount of work, so the Board of Selectmen is requesting the town meeting to approve this new position to help us finally land some new commercial tax revenues in town. Right now, as you may know, only 6% of the taxes come from business and industry. We want to broaden that. We're close, and we need this position filled in order to make it happen.
Other questions? Hey, hold on 1 second. What's up? Yeah, I know. The only good thing about the
Lisa Mosinski, 6
Sider. First, if I could just add a comment to an earlier question. Mr. Moderator, through you in the past, there was conversation in the past town meeting with another member of town meeting, not the person who made the question today, but about some set-aside funding about economic development. It was never spent, and this was probably about 2 years ago, because in my opinion, the agency that the town had worked with to that point wasn't using effective economic development analysis or support. What we need right now, and what this article seeks to fund today, is assistance in town hall coordinating the activities of several boards and commissions and administrative staff in a way that will provide a high level of service to those who are components of various economic development projects. Anybody who's going to build a new building probably has to go through planning board, conservation commission. They may need zoning assistance. They will have to interact with the building department and e-permitting and the different applications that they have to fill out. One of the things that happens, Mr. Moderator, very frequently is that people don't understand how all those pieces fit together in order to make a project go forward in an expeditious manner that doesn't create tremendous amount of frustration and anxiety on people's part. They may be working against a deadline for their corporation, and all of a sudden they find out, well, they have to advertise, and they have to do all of these different board meetings that are contingent upon one another. What we're looking for is part-time help to take the burden off of me and the Community Development Department Director to just handle that level of detail. You're down in the weeds. Let's help everybody work through their checklist so that when they show up to the planning board, they have 1 or 2 meetings and they get what they need. The planning board gets the information it needs, the applicant gets the feedback they need in a manner that's professional and quick. I hope, Mr. Moderator, that answers the question. So I'm not looking for a PhD here, Mr. Moderator. I'm looking for someone who is going to make the trains run on time.
You have a follow-up, please?
Yes, please. So is this position where's the job description? And is this position alone paid $14,200 part-time with no benefits? Or are you saying there's additional funds to complement this wage and that there's a further position that we need to talk about?
Mr. Moderator, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to adjust everything to keep the wind noise down, so you just have to give me a second.
I'll try to give you the verbal pauses so that you have time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for the question, Mr. Moderator, through you. The position is anticipated to be part-time, 1 person, no benefits, at the miscellaneous 4 pay grade. We don't need anything additional beyond that, in my opinion.
Other questions? Okay, seeing none. Would anyone like to speak on the article? Also seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying no.
No.
The ayes have it. Article 1 passes. Okay, I will now take a motion to pass Article 2 as printed in the warrant. Motion's been made. Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 2 unanimously? So, we're going to do this a little bit differently. I'm just going to go ahead and read the motion. The motion is that the town vote to transfer from water sewer expenses the sum of $278 to pay the following prior year's bill. RI and Analytical Water Sewer in the amount of $278. I'll now take that motion. Motion been made, and I'm looking for a second. There is a second. Is there any dissent to passing this article unanimously? Seeing none, Article 2 passes unanimously. Okay, I will now take a motion for Article 3. There's no reason we can't do this in this warrant, correct? Okay, as printed in the warrant. Motion been made. Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing this article unanimously? There is. Okay, do we have a person who would like to give a proponent speech for this? Okay, we'll move right on to questions. Does anyone have any questions on this article? Okay, please bear with me 1 second while I sanitize the mic. Okay, please step forward to the mic.
Main Street. I had a question. Reading that article, it seems like it's more of a policy and a procedure, and I was wondering why we're putting it under the personal bylaw.
Okay, verbal pause, please. You got it.
Mr. Moderator, thank you to the member for the question. In the course of conversation with legal counsel about these positions, we want to do this right in the town of Douglas. Other communities have been hiring deputy chiefs in their police departments and in their fire departments. Those positions are not actually authorized by state statute. There needs to be a local law to create those positions, because if they're not authorized to contract through state statute, then they default to your personnel bylaw and your personnel policies and procedures as a matter of law. The difficulty that many communities have filling these positions without a contract is you're trying to take somebody and put them into the management ranks with no guarantee other than the personnel bylaws, what was basically a year-to-year appointment. And there are a number of ways in which the union negotiated contracts from which any internal hire would seek promotion are somewhat more generous than your personnel bylaw. When those areas of greater generosity are directly relevant to public safety professions, how long are they going to stick around, what are their credentials, etc., etc., there needs to be more than a simple year-to-year appointment from the appointing authority in order to get somebody highly qualified and motivated to take that position. So after a very long conversation with the town's labor council, the process was recommended that it be a personnel bylaw amendment so that it creates authority to enter into what it looks like a contract with these folks. Many of their benefits will default to the personnel bylaw limits, but when it's relevant to public safety or attracting somebody to a management level position, we have some flexibility in dealing with hours of work. The other issue is the comp table. We really don't want to revisit the comp table in order to accommodate a couple of positions. The salaries that are commanded by people in these second in command positions don't fit neatly into the table and don't allow for flexibility for the chiefs to negotiate with the person who's going to fill that role. So we needed this additional request to town meeting in order to accomplish the goals that we had stated in filling these positions.
Other questions? Okay, would anyone like to speak on the article? Okay, seeing none, is there any dissent to passing Article 3 unanimously? Okay, all those in favor of Article 3, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying no. The ayes have it. Okay, I will now accept a motion from the floor to pass Article 4 as printed in the warrant. Motion been made. Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 4 unanimously? Seeing none, Article 4 passes unanimously. Article 5, I will accept the motion that the town transfer the sum of $27,000 from free cash to the other post-employment benefits or OPEB account. Were you going to say something? There you go. Okay, motion been made. Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 5 unanimously? Seeing none, Article 5 passes unanimously. Article 6, I will accept the motion that the town vote to transfer the sum of $10,000 from free cash to stabilization. Motion been made. Is there a second? Second. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 6 unanimously? Okay, there is dissent. Would anyone like to give a proponent speech on the article? Okay, seeing none. If you have a question, please step up to the mic.
Lisa Malzinski, 60 Oak Street. So what is the balance of the stabilization fund and why the $10,000 from free cash, please?
Gene? Yep. All right. Gene, why don't you step over to the red mic?
G. Lovett, Finance Director. I'll answer the 10,000 first. As part of the analysis when I close the year, I look at the source of funds. The town received $10,000 as part of a hosting agreement. In that agreement, it's stated that it should be used to the purchase of an ambulance. We can't do that. We need to kind of place it in an account until that use is needed. So the 10,000 is really honoring the agreement. It's placing the money as a transfer from the what closed to free cash to the stabilization account to be used as a later date. The balance as of 10/31 is $1,486,031.
Apparently, I'm not only the moderator, but the chief sanitation officer. Other questions? Okay, seeing none, would anyone like to speak on the article? Also seeing none, is there any dissent to passing Article 6 unanimously? Seeing none, Article 6 passes unanimously. Article 7, looking for a motion to raise and appropriate the sum of $1,425,950 for its operating and capital assessment by the Blackstone Valley Vocational Regional School District for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2020, which is inclusive of $40,636 of Proposition 2.5 exempted funds to be applied against debt service associated with Douglas's previously 2001 voted amount for the district's addition/renovation project. Motion's been made. Is there a second? Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 7 unanimously? Seeing none, Article 7 passes unanimously. Article 8. will take a motion to pass Article 8 as printed in the warrant. Motion been made. Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 8 unanimously? Okay, we have dissent. Would anyone like to give a proponent speech? Okay, seeing none, are there any questions on Article 8? Okay, seeing none, would anyone like to speak on Article 8? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of Article 8, please signify by saying aye. Oh, I apologize. Yep, never mind, okay. All those in favor of Article 8, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying no. Okay, article still passes unanimously. Really, I never thought in a million years that I'd be dealing with wind in a town meeting. Okay, Article 9, I will accept the motion. This is different than what is in your warrant, but still within scope. The motion will be that the town vote to transfer the sum of $910 from free cash for the purpose of acquiring by gift, purchase, and/or eminent domain certain parcels, interest in land and or easements as described in the warrant article and as further described in a filing in the office of the town clerk entitled Proposed Cedar Street Taking. Where's Bill? Is that all right, Bill? Okay. Motion been made. Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 9 unanimously? Seeing none, Article 9 passes unanimously. Now accept a motion for Article 10 to amend the zoning map for the town of Douglas as written in the warrant. Motion been made. Is there a seconded? Is there a second? Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded. I also am in receipt of the planning board's report in favor of this article. Is there any dissent to passing this article unanimously? Okay, seeing none, Article 10 passes unanimously. Okay, I will now accept a motion for the town to vote to amend the use table in the town's zoning bylaws as written in the warrant. Motion been made. Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded. I am also in receipt of the planning board memo that is in favor of this motion as well. Is there any dissent to passing Article 11 unanimously? Seeing none, Article 11 passes unanimously. I will accept a motion to raise and appropriate the sum of $35,000 for funding year 3 of the municipal separate storm sewer system compliance services. Motion been made. Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 12 unanimously? Seeing none, Article 12 passes unanimously. Article 13, I'll accept the motion to vote to adopt Mass General Law, Chapter 40, Section 8J, Powers and Duties of Cities and Towns Disability Commission. Is there a motion? Motion been made. Is there a second? Motion been made and second. Is there any dissent to passing Article 13 unanimously? Seeing none, Article 13 passes unanimously. Article 14, I'll accept a motion to transfer the sum of $8,000 from the Waterways Receipts Reserved for Appropriation account to a Waterway Dive Rescue Team account for the purpose of paying costs associated with the purchase of supplies, equipment, and training. Motion has been made. Is there a second? Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 14 unanimously? Seeing none, Article 14 passes unanimously. Before we get to Article 15, just a point of clarification. that Article 1 was to raise and appropriate. Is that good enough? Okay. Is there any misunderstanding on that? Okay, I just want to take a quick motion. How would I word that?
Move to clarify raising.
Okay, move to clarify that Article 1 was to raise and appropriate. Can I get that motion, please? And second? And seconded. Is there any dissent to passing that unanimously? Seeing none. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, Article 15, I will accept the motion to change. This one we can do as printed in the warrant. Yep. Okay, I will accept a motion to pass Article 15 as printed in the warrant. Motion been made. Is there a second? Motion been made and seconded. Is there any dissent to passing Article 15 unanimously? Okay. Would anyone like to give a proponent speech on Article 15? Okay. Questions on Article 15? Just bear with me 1 second. What's that? You don't have any? Okay, would anyone like to speak on Article 15? Yeah, also seeing none. All those in favor of Article 15, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying no. The ayes have it. Is that a majority or a two-thirds? Okay, it passes by 2/3. Okay, with that, I hope that by this, well, not by this time, but by our next meeting, that we'll be able to be indoors again. So as much fun as this has kind of been, being outdoors, getting some vitamin D, and having town meeting all bundled up, I appreciate everyone's patience and working with us through these difficult times. And again, I look forward to being indoors with all of you again, hopefully soon. So with that, I will accept the motion to adjourn. Motion been made. Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Anyone who really has nothing else to do, please signify by saying no. Ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned.